Oh, that just feels right. Alrighty, got one disc mine semi hooked up enough to get it in here to where we can work on it. Other Magnum was pulled in and I got the accumulators off, and it was just a drop off and pick up, so I don't know what the scoop is on these, if they checked them and they were good or had to charge them. But those are definitely the same ones I sent. So no note, no nothing. Okay, I guess we'll put them on and see. Hopefully she shifts better. Otherwise that one gets to do what that one just got done, and that was the whole transmission tore apart and new clutch packs put in, which I will say took that tractor from being the donkey of the fleet to not bad. That was always kind of the ugly duckling, both mechanically and actually ugly, but I don't know, it drives 10 times better than this one does now. Well, I took it out back here and went for a little drive. Seems to be driving better. I can actually see now out of my windows. Got them all nice and clean. Weird. Also even cleaned the floor. Probably should have scrubbed it, but I vacuumed it anyway. It's amazing how more stuff just keeps on coming, but I don't know, for running empty, plus it's cold, the truth kind of comes out after it's good and warmed up and pulling something, but I don't know, seems to be better anyway. I guess the real test is once it gets hooked onto the baler and see what it acts like then. I had it parked in the shed and apparently there was a nest above it. One egg isn't going to make it to a bird. Well, we are cutting hay today. Sorry, I forgot the YouTube thing again, so I got disc binds ready. And honestly, probably a good thing I didn't record it, because sometimes things go really, really good, and sometimes things just go horribly, horribly wrong. This time they went horribly, horribly wrong. I pulled the drain plug out of this, and of course that was stripped. And of course it's like a female hex head, like you use an Allen wrench for. So I tried to chisel it out, that didn't work. And I couldn't get at it to get a nut welded on without taking the skid plate off. And the skid plate was a little wore, so I figured I'd get a new one. Well, I had to cut that with a plasma cutter. And of course that was only after I remembered I had a plasma cutter and spent a good 2 hours with the grinder trying to grind it off. And I just happened to look over and see my plasma cutter and say, well, that'll work a lot better. So I got that taken care of. Well, then the fill plug stripped. Then I noticed a bunch of the turtle shells were wore out, so I had to replace those too. And then it came time to do the Vermeer disc bind. And of course that's just a hassle, because you got to take off every individual turtle shell and check the grease in each individual gearbox. So that takes about a day. But nothing went too wrong on that one. All the gearboxes had good grease in them, and it was good to go. So anyway, we're cutting hay. And I'm pretty happy with how the disc bind's cutting. Oh, wrong button. Granted, it should be, because the damn thing's got brand new knives in it. And I tell you, the disc bind isn't what stole the show today. It's this tractor. This is the Ugly Duckling 7110 Magnum. I always called it the Donkey, but a few months ago it got a transmission rebuilt, all the clutch packs in there replaced, and then for a little icing on top, we actually turned it up to about 180 horse, which is what the other two-wheel drives are set at. And I tell you, this thing just runs awesome now. We still got the, well, there's 3 7110 two-wheel drives, and then we got a 7120 four-wheel drive. And if you got a boxcar Magnum, that's a 10 or a 20, just do yourself a favor and turn it right up to 180 horse, because they just, that's where they like to be. And they just run awesome. There's the other disc vine over there. What's up? We are back. Second day cutting hay. We got everything at home knocked down. And for the most part, it all looked like good alfalfa, but not a whole lot of it there. So that's kind of a head scratcher. It had all the heat and all the moisture, but compared to first crops before, it's half. So that'll be interesting to see what that stuff breaks up and how many bales we end up getting off it. I don't know, everything else is looking about the same. I don't know if, I think it hasn't rained in a week, 10 days, but we got enough before then. I didn't think it mattered, but apparently it did. So we're gonna cut across this field here and get to cut. Well, I take back what I previously said. This stuff was new seeding last year, and besides a few straggly, I don't know, clumps of rye in it, it is awesome alfalfa, and it's good and heavy. If you've been watching for a while, this was actually the couple fields last year where I had a 1206 and a batwing mowing down ragweed in the new seeding, and apparently it didn't hurt it at all. Kind of surprising. I would have thought going through it with the batwing and as much ragweed that was in it, I thought it would have smothered all the alfalfa out, but it made it through. Well, we are making some progress. This stuff wasn't quite as heavy as it was over there, but not bad. Still kind of light for first crop. Dad's still over there pecking away at that side. I don't know if I just go faster than him, or I guess that piece is like damn near 2 miles long. A mile? I don't know. I don't know distance. I just got one right over this hillside, and I'll probably jump in and start this piece here. Looking at the grass on the bottom, I think we might just leave that till second crop. It's my idea anyway. We'll see what they want to do, but I don't know, cutting this grass down through this waterway just because you run it over going through all these fields, might as well cut it, but really don't have to drive through that. And yeah, it'll probably be a lot more of it by second crop. I don't know, maybe there's enough. Nah, whatever. Well, that's not good. Should look like that one. Well, got that fixed. I decided to go with double nutting it instead of welding it like we usually do. We do this about once a year. And then I noticed that over here, those are still the factory headed bolts. So then I got looking, and there's a lot more gap here than there was on here. which basically that just, the less gap you have here, the less down pressure you have, so the less the head weighs on the ground. So I don't know, I backed these ones off to match that one because apparently those don't break, and these have been broken numerous times. But got everything tight, good as gold. Look at that kid run. Runs just like my friend Dale. Wait a minute. Well, we are hauling bales today. And of course I'm kind of running the skid loader and the trailer. Oh, that just means a lot of walking. That's okay. Keeps you in shape. My dad's baling. And of course I can run that baler 1,500 bales without a hitch, and seems like he's stopped every 5-6. So whatever. He wanted to bale for some reason instead of just driving a truck around the field. Well, you'll have that. I think we're probably got about 50 made so far and probably 30 hauled. So he's currently broke a belt. So they're in there getting that found. First you gotta find a broken belt inside the bale you're making. And then they get that off, pulled out. Then they can splice it. And then put it back on. Where the heck did that kid go? Let's go. Get in the truck. I'd do this job, I swear to God, 20 times faster if it wasn't for him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something's missing there. Well, I got tired of hauling bales yesterday, so I stole my baler back. And we are gonna see how long we can go before something breaks. Now that I'm running it, because my dad was running it, and yeah, we broke down for a good 2 hours yesterday. I don't know if it was his fault, probably not his fault. The old lacings on the belt, someone at Vermeer needs to get fired. Because I don't think this baler, with just over 4,000 bales on it, has an original splice from the factory anymore. Our old New Holland balers, those are endless belts from the factory, so there's no splice in them. They must put them on as they build the baler, I assume, because you almost have to. And yeah, those belts last like 20,000 bales. Granted, there's no splices, but I think a splice belt should last at least 5,000 bales. More than 4 anyway. Whatever. Tooling along. I actually got to fly my drone yesterday, so that was fun. It was really windy, so I'm sure the video was kind of shaky, but it was funny. I was flying it out back behind the house, and you'd see the drone shake from the wind, and then 30 seconds later I get a big gust of wind where I was at. And plus, where I was filming Dad baling, and he was kind of in a little pocket of woods, and I couldn't get the drone that low, otherwise it'd lose signal, which I'm guessing the wind didn't help. But who knows? I'll see what that video turns out like. See that? That net wrap shouldn't be there. Nor should it be here. It should be there. But my rolls up there look clean, so that's good. It's good. It must have just caught weird Well, let's fix this and see what the next one does. Well, we made a whole nother bale and it's actually wrapping like it should again. So we're back to going. Got 2 made so far. Driving along the bean field. This is the first one I planted and she's all up and nice. And won't be long, they'll be about knee high and all spread out. This will be a nice green field instead of a dirt field. Looking good. Well, 21 bales down, 2 fields done. Ain't a bad looking bale out of the bunch. She is tuned in and working just wonderful. I'm making quite a bit of dust, and all those bales are running low to mid 20% on moisture, so I bet if we would give all this hay today to dry, it'd probably I didn't realize there was a windrow here. I bet if we gave all this hay today to dry and came back, baled it tomorrow, it'd be just perfectly bone dry, but it's all getting wrapped anyway, whether it's dry or wet or silage or not. That's how she goes. When you kind of want some moisture in it, of course you get the weather to dry hay, and when you want to make dry hay, all you get is rain. That's just farming. Well, I had one bale decide to go for a ride. I dumped it over here, and it ended up back there. So that rolled about 50 feet, but otherwise all of them stayed put. Takes a little bit of skill to do it on the hilly parts here, but we made it through. We are all done with this side. Now to jump over to the other side, and I don't know if it's an even 50-50 split this side to that side, but I'd like to think we're about half done. Got 71 bales off of this side, and that's that big strip that goes all across there. That wasn't near as heavy as the stuff over here was. That lower one, no, that was fairly heavy, so we'll see how they add up. There's also one piece up above the woods there, and there's that little tail piece over there, but we'll get her. Hopefully the baler stays together. I shouldn't have said that. I really shouldn't have said that. Hang tight. Well, we are 113 bales deep, and I don't feel like doing math, but that's over 40 on this side, and there's probably only a couple left. So the other side trumped this side, because there's 70 over there, and they got 20 left to haul, and then they're switching over to this side. So I guess they hauled back home what was left over there before they got here. So that was 50. I don't know, there's math there somewhere. I think there's like 120 that they would have hauled today, and I made 113, so I think I gained on them quite a bit. And probably about the time I get done with this and do that last piece that's back up over the hill there, it's gonna be time for chores, so I probably won't even have to switch into a truck and haul hay, which that's good because my truck's out of fuel and I'd have to put fuel in it. Well, we are all done baling for today. Got the home farm done, and then this little, I don't know, I guess it's kind of technically a separate farm. Got these 2 farms done up. I got my uncle's down, but that's, I don't know, that's either tomorrow or tomorrow's Friday, tomorrow or Saturday. I think if we wait till Saturday, it'll be absolutely bone dry, which, whatever. But this stuff up here was actually reeking wet. Finished the day off on 126 bales, so not a bad day. Looks like they finally switched over to the other side down there. Or just barely, but I suppose we'll see what tomorrow brings. Well, another fun-filled day of heading out to the field to do some baling. I see my neighbors over there that got their first crop off early are already spreading fertilizer. Which reminds me, as soon as I'm done baling, I gotta jump in a slurry tank and haul manure for 2 weeks. So that'll be a fun time. It's usually what I do, and I wish need more people. If I could send someone else off, get all the hay taken care of, all that, they can turn right around as soon as we got the bales off and start hauling manure. That'd be great. I guess I could do that after milking at night. I like sleep. But the last 2 days of baling, even the first day was being broke down, and then Dad baled after milking. So he made 121. The next day, with no breakdowns, I made 126, which was just a lot of driving around trying to make a bale because it was not very heavy. Hopefully we can get at least 120 done today, or more. I'm guessing I'm probably going to have to switch my rolls in that rack, because usually that lasts right about 300 bales. So that's what we're doing today. You know, I was pretty disappointed. I headed out here after milking to do some round baling, and I figured I'd get some nice, you know, farming at night footage. Well, I finally got dark and I got 2 windrows left. This is bale number 46. And yeah. We actually finally hit some pretty good hay. This is pretty good stuff out here. But yeah, it's been going just awesome. I've only been out here an hour and 22 minutes. Not bad. Hammer down. I've been running about 8 miles an hour out here too. It doesn't take very long to make a bale going that fast. It takes more time to shift through the gears than it does to get there. I guess we're only going 6 now, but I'm holding the phone. Yeah, I figured I'd come out here. It got raked today, getting ready for tomorrow when all our weekend warriors are off for Memorial Day, and they all wanted to make hay. So that means I got 3 trailers chasing me, hauling bales instead of just a regular 2. Granted, we're a little farther away than we were the last couple days, but yeah, always keep them guessing. You got to keep some distance in between the baler and the bale trailers. Otherwise, you know, they just start creeping up on you, talking a little bit of smack. You can't have that. So we're just gonna hammer down, keep making bales. Well, probably another 4. Then I'll be done with this. Hopefully I can get through chores in the morning early, and hopefully someone jumps on the rake right away and get back out here during the daylight. But kind of disappointed. I thought it was going to be later. Well, there we go. 49 bales, just under an hour and a half. That probably saved me, I don't know. The last couple days have only been 120 bale days, but they've been a lot of driving in between bales. The hay hasn't been that heavy, yada yada. So it would have saved me half a day there, but judging by how heavy this hay is, not quite half a day. But it'll save me a couple hours, and it's done. And all the bale hauling guys and the bale wrapper can get working on that, so they ain't sitting there waiting for me to make a trailer load when we get started. There we go. Sorry about that. You gotta hit it every now and then. It doesn't like to go into 18. But yeah, we gotta get a little jump on tomorrow. Should be a shorter day anyway. There's one more farm out back here which has only got one field on it of hay. So quick stop and bale that up. Kind of jump through valleys and ridges to get over to the other farm where it's probably going to be an all-day adventure, but that's all right. And judging by the report coming back on the guy running the disc mine, there's going to be a lot of hay there, so whatever. I guess it's the driving around all day and not getting any bales really sucks. But I mean, driving 50 feet and stopping, making a bale, that'll make you tired by the end of the day too. So it's farming every which way. Gotta love it. Well, it is 11 o'clock. We got just this little bit left. Fairly decent amount of hay out here. We got just under 30 bales so far. And yeah, I don't know, I don't think it's still quite what first crop usually is, but I call it a real good second crop. So all in all, I ain't gonna call that too bad. I'm trying to think of how many bales we usually get off this field, but there's too many fields and too many bales to try to remember all that. So anyway, we're gonna finish up this field and then jump. The other farm is just up over that, where you can see those silos there, kind of over there. But I gotta go down through the valley and along the river and back up again. And yeah, I wish we could go as the crow flies, but oh well. It's kind of through the river and through the woods. Shortcut, or no, it's over the river through the woods. But yeah, otherwise if I go the other way it'd take me 20 minutes when it's just over there. But 3 more windrows left here, and God willing nothing breaks. It should be a fairly short day depending on how heavy the hay is at the other place, so we'll see. Well, we are all finished up here. 32 bales, and last bale is going to be just a tick shorter than the rest of them. That works. I don't want to carry a third of a bale with me down the road. A lot of extra weight just bouncing around in there. So we're going to dump this one off and head on down the road. Well, we are still baling away here. And yeah, I think this is bale number 42, and I kind of goofed up on this bale. It's going to be a little lopsided because I was trying to figure out, there's about 2 passes worth of just a spot that the drill apparently did not plant anything. Or nothing grew. Don't know what happened there. If it was just one pass, maybe something. I don't know, but it's 2 passes in the exact same spot. That's a weird one. Oh man, would you just look at it? is hauled in. Got a few more bales to wrap. And only one farm to go. And it should be getting cut as we speak. We're almost done. Almost done. It is very, very hot today, and there's a couple things I would like to talk about. Things that, when it's real hot like this, make life a lot harder. Number one, a tractor with the parking brake that does not work, meaning you cannot back up to an implement, put the parking brake on, get out and hook it up. Number two, a piece of equipment that does not have a jack, meaning you need a skid loader to hook it up. If you want to have a real fun day in a nice hot heat, try to hook up that tractor that doesn't have a parking brake onto that piece of equipment that doesn't have a jack by yourself. Not fun. Not fun in the least bit. And on top of that, you have to use a pallet fork on the skid loader, which this is as high as your boom can be, and still manage to get the door open. So that is the total amount of lift you have. But if you do that, then you got to squeeze out of that gap and climb over the pallet fork. Keep in mind, it's 85 degrees and it is hot. And before I could even get that tractor, I had to unhook the turbo till. So there's the turbo till. You'll notice it's facing out this door, not the way I wanted to do it or usually do it. Usually I like to face it out that way. But if we go over here, it doesn't show up on camera very good, but this right here is like a 2-foot drop, meaning the tractor sits like that going into the shed. Now, yes, I know a couple loads of gravel in here would be perfect, but for some reason we don't like to spend money on things like gravel, because that just makes life too easy. So instead of me backing in the turbo till how I wanted to and everything nice and neat, I had to back it in sideways. It's gonna work, but not the way I wanted to do it. Moral of the story, if you got a tractor with a parking brake that does not work and you say, oh, it's not that important, we'll do it later, just do it. Because when you need that parking brake, it's going to be 85 degrees and you're not going to have any patience left. Ugh. Just no fun. And yes, I tightened the parking brake up before. It's not just a simple adjustment, it needs the actual friction pads or how it would work in that tractor. Honestly, I don't know. I think the cable stretched a little and all the adjustments out of it. It's just time for new. Yeah, it's going great. I'm having a fun day. It's so fun. I also get to go around Bale, but at least the AC works in that tractor very, very well. Of course, now that I say that, it's probably not going to work, and next time you see me, I'm going to be drenched in sweat in a hot tractor. I really hope not. So, you guys remember when we had them splice 2 belts in this baler? Apparently they didn't do too good of a job. Well, we are all done with first crop officially. 4609. I think we started at like 4,300 something, so only 300 bales, which is a pretty light first crop, but for not getting much rain when it should have got it, is what it is. And if you ask me, we finished up just in time because it was getting really hot, and all of a sudden my favorite little light came on, which I'm hoping I just have a dirty screen up there in the radiator and all that. If you ever get air conditioning issues, that is the cheapest spot to start with. If that thing gets dirty and plugged up, your AC will not work. It might work for a little bit and then just totally die out and not work. Chances are that's dirty. That's your little pro tip for today. But I'm gonna park this here because my truck's over here. Collect all my goodies out of this tractor from first crop, because it'll be a while before I'm back in here. Hopefully. I do got some work that needs to be done to this baler before we get to second crop. There's a few belt splices are coming apart on, and I gotta say, for as good of a baler as this Vermeer is, the belts absolutely suck. You see that baler there? Baler sucks, but the belts are great. That's because New Holland uses endless belts, so even from the factory there's no splice in there, just one big belt, which the belts will completely disintegrate and pull apart layer by layer, but they will stay there and do their job. I really wish this thing had endless belts from the factory, but what do you do? And even then, every time we splice it, it'll pull the splice right through the Vermeer belt. Just not the best belt. Vermeer calls it their rock belts. I think they're talking about limestone, because that's not a very hard rock. Oh well, she stayed together for first crop. That's all that matters. I also got a chain to replace. Coming up on 5,000 bales, there's a little bit of maintenance required.